There are new disparities in our education system that have reinforced segregation in education by ushering in a system of separate but unequal schools. Among these disparities include the growing number of inexperienced and underpaid teachers, as well as the underfunding of schools in the inner cities by cutting funding from the budget and reallocating money to programs that the children do not need. The Brown versus Board Supreme Court decision brought an end to a system of separate but equal schools. This Supreme Court decision was only one of the few to go unanimous, as it was one of the landmarks of the civil rights movement. It is consolable that our country has reverted to its primitive culture of our past. So, who is at risk of being segregated by the education system in our country? It is often the poor and the minorities. This is because these people tend to reside in the inner cities, and due to their economic status, they cannot afford private education and a host of other luxuries that the affluent have at their disposal. Another key issue when addressing these disparities in education is the role of poverty. It is prominent that in schools that in the suburbs that have significantly higher funding than those in the inner cities. This is because the wealthy funnel their tax dollars to the suburbs where they reside, therefore they have more influence in those communities. This can go as far as to what material is taught in the classroom. According to Jonathan Kozel, a researcher in education, his research in the tri-state area of New York showed that there is a $10,000 difference in each child's value depending on where they live. So what does this lead to? This can lead to teachers taking on better paying jobs in the suburbs and leaving the less paying ones for the inexperienced teachers. A report by UCLA showed that students in the suburbs have more resources in terms of technology and after school programs that benefit their learning, while those in the inner cities do not have these luxuries to them. What else has led to this problem? The constant redrawing of lines that has curbed out open enrollment in the school district system. We call this gerrymandering in schools. So this ensures that students cannot switch schools and attend those in other areas, and it also allows for those in the suburbs to have more options when selecting schools for their children. So what are the effects of having segregated schools? Well, it promotes the idea of students being better than each other, and it fails to give children exposure as racism is not innate, rather it is learned. The disadvantage to society because it decreases the fact that we have to promote diversity. It also proves more expensive to funnel resources in only one community rather than the whole society. So how can we stop this? Well, we can allow for open enrollment in school districts, increase the pay for teachers across the board, whether in the suburbs or inner cities. We can create a curriculum that can be followed across the country. We can increase the technology in the classroom and make it available for students even at home. We can also repeal useless legislation such as the No Child Left Behind Act, which focuses on testing rather than critical thinking. What message do I want to leave you with? Education reform starts with you.